Howdy, 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 y'all. In this video, I want to walk through Loxo, which is an incredible software that we use here at Spirit Consulting. What Loxo is it's a software that's used as it says, talent intelligence platform. We really use it as an applicant tracking system, a customer relationship manager, and a talent database. So first thing here is I will sign up, and the first, in this video, just want to walk through kind of the basics of Loxo, which are um, what we use most are the jobs, people, and deals functions here. How to customize some things in Loxo, I'll show you how to do that, and then how to add people in Loxo. There are going to be some more supplemental videos that you can watch that are also linked in the onboarding tracker, but this should give a basic rundown for you. So first, let's start with jobs. So here you'll see all the jobs that we have currently open here at Spirit that we're working on. So for instance, if we go into the Assistant Director of Human Resources at Duke Hospital, which is a project that I have been working on, you'll see this is your talent pipeline. So you'll see, applied, rejected upon review, and all these different categories. So I'll briefly kind of walk through what each of these mean. Applied just means that someone applied to the position. In progress is generally kind of a miscellaneous category that we use. So depending on the project, it will have different meanings. Rejected upon review, they applied, they weren't a fit. Set up phone screen means that they've shown some interest and now you want to set up a phone screen. Source is when you bring people in. In campaign means that you've now reached out to them via text, email, LinkedIn message. Sent in mail means that you couldn't find any message, like any contact info, so you just sent them an in-mail. CNI, candidate's not interested. Phone screen, scheduled, and schedule an interview are just kind of stages here within the recruiting process. Rejected after interview, not a fit, being that they just weren't a fit for the position, whether it was relocation, or maybe they were too senior or too junior, but you want to keep some sort of like networking relationship with them. Submitted a client means that they've been submitted to the client. Advancing or rejected after presentation, so that's going to be after you submit to the client, what was the outcome. And then here you'll see rejected after interview, so they went through the interview process and they were rejected with the client. Reference check being that they're ready to conduct a reference check or potentially make an offer. Offer rejected being candidates who rejected an offer, or oftentimes like they just withdraw from the process after being moved forward. Hired being people who are hired. And then need reference and completed reference are just for when you do a reference check. So for instance, for Kalsum, these were her references. So these are people who I would reach out to asking for references. Completed just means that they've completed those references. So that's kind of a rundown. You'll see, each person, like for instance, if I click on, for instance, Felicia, you'll see here that there is a resume in here that you can upload by hitting this and, pulling in the resume. See resume here, you see the activity, which is, the various phone calls, text, emails, it all links into Loxo. So it's a good place that if I were to jump off this project, somebody could come in and see where the candidate's been, where kind of communication's been, etc. So that is the basic rundown of the job function and the various categories. You can also see here that when you click this arrow, this actually takes you to the job posting itself, which is on our website. This posting also posts on various other job boards. Up here in settings is how you would edit that job if you needed to. And yeah, so that's jobs. Excuse me. The next thing being deals. Deals is where we keep track of our business development opportunities. So you'll see here we have, intros, ask for crowbars sent out. This will be something we'll chat through a little bit more as you move into business development. But this is where you see kind of where deals stand. The long story here is that it takes a lot of work to get a completed project, or to get a position to be able to work on, and you can kind of see that outlined here. The next thing being people, and this is what we use a lot. In the people function, you'll see we have 19,000 people in our database. You can use these filters here to search for those people. You can also just tag in here and search for that person. You'll see the most recently kind of contacted and worked with people here. And then you'll also see here where you can add. So you can add an individual person and kind of like type this in. Another alternative is to add by CSV, which I'll show you, or add through the Loxo Chrome extension. So I'll show you how to do those. So the first one being the Chrome extension. So here I have Bill Gates, pulled up just as kind of a random profile. You can hit here this Loxo Chrome extension. This here is going to pull all of Bill Gates' information from his website or from his LinkedIn profile here. You're going to then be able to, add him into a job if you think that, Bill Gates would be an awesome junior consultant for Spirit Consulting. You can add him there. You can also hit this button that says find contact information, and it's going to try to source through and find contact information. So I don't know if this is legitimately, a cell phone number for Bill Gates. That looks like a good email, but that's where you find his contact information. Now, when you go back to people, you refresh, you're going to see Bill Gates here at the top. The other way to do this is by importing a CSV. So if, for instance, here we have candidates for Assistant Director of HR, we want to save to a CSV. Once we have messaged these people and want to add them into Loxo, then what you'll do is you'll go in, hit Import CSV, select a file, you have your pipeline export, and then you're just going to go through and check. We want to import the names, the location, title, company, and profile. And then you just go in here and you match these up. Title, company, and LinkedIn profile. And this allows you to bulk import people rather than importing people one by one. So the last thing I want to do in this brief video, and like I said, there's going to be additional supplemental videos and such underneath that you can watch on specific topics, but just want to kind of give you an overview, is here through the settings. You clicking on your name here, go on to settings, and this is where you're able to customize some things in Loxo. So you set up, what email account is synced. For me, it's my email account, and this basically reads with Google that it'll send emails. So I can send emails through Loxo that are sent from my Gmail account. But then also when I get responses back, or if I send emails from my Google account, it'll actually sync with Loxo. So it shows up in that person's contact history. You also have your signature here, which you'll, add in. You have email templates. So you're able to create different templates based off of where someone is. And the cool thing is that this will actually update with the specific position. So let's say it's rejected upon review. This is a template that just says your recent application. Thanks for taking the time to apply for the job title at job company. You change this, first name. So anything person related is here. Anything job related is here. And then this will actually customize based on what job you're emailing that person from. So that's a really cool thing. So I have a bunch of templates here. You can also have your SMS templates, which again, this is for texting templates. There are other templates here that you can set up and different things you can work with. Your profile picture, you can add stuff in there. But that is kind of the basic rundown of what you need to know for Loxo. You'll be using this program very, very, very closely throughout your time here at Spirit, and excited to answer any questions that you might have. And like I said, there's also those supplemental videos that go a little more in depth that you could, watch if you feel like you need to feel comfortable with the software. So appreciate your time and hope you have a wonderful day.